and welcome back to another episode of Skyline's podcast. Today we are going to talk about some really important stuff that is required for this business world. And where is laughing, Ram? I think these are the topics that generally go, very corrupt with all media telling a lot of stuff and confusing the general populace. So today we were talking about how the entire world being controlled by baby boomers and their decisions having a very big impact in every single step of our lives. So we will start with talking about who baby boomers are, and we have this recent meme called okay boomer or boomer uncle and stuff like that, but people don't know what that word actually means, because like when I was talking to certain people, they felt like people who have progressive primitive thoughts are called boomers, but the actual boomer arrived from a certain term. So I want you to kickstart with that. So
when you said primitive thoughts, okay, the idea of a boomer is a person with primitive thoughts. I think that sums it up all, the word primitive.
Right.
So basically,
someone who was
they were more primitive than. So if I was a boomer now, I should basically accept that I am a boomer and act accordingly.
Right.
First, who is a boomer? According to the dictionaries or according to how we are going to segment them, is a person who is, as of now, in the age of 45 and above till their late 60s. We would call them baby boomers. And this, we are taking it as a global phenomena across the globe, that is all capitalistic countries. We are looking at a similar kind of thought behavior, thought process, and the way how they execute things also.
Right.
So this is what a boomer is. It is not primitive thoughts. They are primitive people compared to the next generation of people. So that's it. They are the boomers. Boom, boom, boomers.
So boomers is not actually an ideology or a concept. It's people addressing older people for their thoughts that are not aligning with the current trends and whatsoever. So baby boomers have had a different generation of population would have had the same thoughts, like before TV and everything. They would have thought like we were playing outside and we are in TV, and right now it's like you are playing with mobiles. We used to have TV, and after that they'll have hologram and we'll say like we had just mobiles and everything. So that's how the concept of a baby boomer was segregated in terms of what year they were born, and they were typically born between 1946 to 1964. And what do they do in the society as of now in leadership positions? What do you think they are doing currently, and what are the primary decisions they are making that is affecting the current generation?
Let's start from the home.
Right.
So
yeah. The most important part.
We can start from the smallest level and then, build our pyramid above. So in every home, we all know it is always the head of the family is a boomer right now. And most of the, rather than, other than in a micro family situation, if it is a macro family or if it is a joint family,
yes.
The decision, even in certain micro families, the inheritance, the role of inheritance, how the wealth inheritance is still being decided by the boomer. So basically the boomer is right now would be, if the person is of my age, 30, 35, it is going to be your father, who is right now at crossing his 50s or entering his early 60s. So they are the people who are there holding up all the wealth and taking decisions of the wealth. So this is just a small example for all of us to understand what a boomer is and how they act when it comes to wealth. This is the same in industries, in corporates. So it is all these people are holding these top positions.
Right.
And they are controlling a lot of wealth. And
is it like above 80%? The wealth that they hold?
I think it is the amount of wealth that they hold. 99.9% of the wealth, global wealth is being controlled. 99.9999, how much ever 9 you want, you can put into it, is being controlled by these boomers. and it is, it is very wrong. Basically, it is one of the main reasons why we are seeing all this scarcity, we are seeing depletement of resources and whatnot, the problem that we see in the society. This is one of the biggest reasons.
So there's an imbalance between the amount of money that they...
Because the way how they think, when you started the primitive thoughts, their thoughts do not align with the current day problems that we are facing.
Right.
You are facing. What the next generation is going to face. Their thoughts are aligned to what their generation was facing.
Right.
And their execution is also like that. So it is going to break the balance very soon. It is better that all these people, start opening their eyes and get into action mode, or else it is going to be very, very tough for all of us. Right. Because, when you're going to have a society that is not happy, your business is not going to be happy.
Right.
When you're not going to have, because the society is now us, the world, the majority is going to be the youths. And if we are not happy, we are the people who are going to be generating more resources, generating more jobs, generating new ideas, generating new technologies. If this population is not fed properly, then there is not going to be any sustainability. You are going to see economic downfalls. You are going to see recession after recession,
right.
Outbreak after outbreak, health problem after health problem. Everything is going to be not in balance.
Right. It's going to be an imbalanced situation for a lot of people involved in the equation.
And boomers are going to be part of this equation, the shortest duration of time.
Right.
They are at the
but
end.
They have the most impact.
They have the most impact in their decisions.
Right. So, for example, like when we talk about, our direct incidents with boomers, is like with our parents and, their adoption to technology and everything. So, and we grew up in a world where we slowly progressed from a mobile phone that was like hard to touch, and then we came to a keyboard kind of touch, and we came to a touch phone. But whenever it is me explaining something to my parents or my uncles or aunties, it's like very hard for them to grasp the concept. And even when they grasp it, their ability to redo it the next time without assistance becomes very difficult for them. But this is like the basic incidents that we have with them on a day-to-day basis. But the business scenario where a lot of people's jobs are at stake, and a company resists in adopting a new technology, which is like making a lot of people do a lot of work, or do a lot of process that is like not systemized or not organized altogether. What do you think is the biggest problem that boomers will have in terms of adapting to new technologies? Is it like the fear that they have been holding up for like 50 to 60 years? Or is it like, okay, I'm content with this. I just want to, keep doing this over and over again? Because like, since you say it is like 99.9%, like, do they all exhibit the same behavior? Because like the dynamicity of people's intentions can differ from culture to culture, but why is it like very common across all the audiences and demographics?
I think you said two. One is being content, and the other is fear of change. I think it is the mix of both.
Right.
You are either content and you do not want to, I have done my part in this world, but now if I am going to leave this stage, because we all know that, we are all living in the world stage, and
they have also completed their life around 80%.
Yes, it is like, Rajinikanth still doing superstar movies.
Right.
Not letting the next guys come in. But, it is the same thing. And these guys do not want to. It is, they will lose their identity.
They don't have to also.
They don't have to. They don't have to. But
First of all.
But if they have to, it is an ethical decision is doing it. If an individual as an ethical decision, it is always good to, step down at the right time and let the progress happen by itself. You have to do your part. So once they step down, they lose their identity. They lose their purpose. And then it is very hard because, at that age, you're tired, you're weak, your priorities are more into
focusing
finding new things,
right,
are much less. So it is a big, identity crisis that they will face So that is one reason why they don't step down also. And this is content being content, and fear of change is another big part, because you are a top executive in a company, you are at the stage of your retirement, and bringing in change now will corrupt your entire brand value that you have built
immediately
if
not
the
done
change is not done properly.
properly. Right.
So there is this fear. It's not fear of change, it is fear of losing your identity,
Right.
fear of losing what you have
Validation
built,
also, and the
your
reputation that you have.
credibility that
Right.
you have built for so long. So that fear inhibits them from doing the right thing. Basically, from doing the right thing, the fear stops them.
Right, and it also works in a way where it's like a product life cycle. So they've had their entire saturation point, and at one point they are not okay with trying new things, or they don't have to try new things because they've done literally 80% of the things. But when a new person who's not in the same generation as that specific person comes into the thing, and this is what it should be done, this is what should be done. But that person's like, no, I've done everything, and I've reached a point where I don't have to really put in efforts or anything. So then it becomes a information clash between all these people, and that is why I think a lot of internal politics also happen. And because like my owner is not changing to technology, this company could have been so much better with that. So I think right now baby boomers sons, or their inherited people who are coming into the plan, can have a very cohesive decision making process rather than an employee saying this is wrong. Right? Do you think I can also agree with the fact that clashes happen between fathers and sons and mothers and daughters, and they also can have a cohesive decision where they are like in a good relationship. So do you think these businesses will form a new dynamic range where these people will coherently act together?
It is based on all when these boomers are ready to step down.
Right.
Because in any organization, if one decision is being taken by two heads, then
That's problematic. It's problematic.
It is problematic. So if it is a
will
family
not-
business, if it is a father and son, if it is not a corporate, and if there is no succession planning, if it is a family business and it is to deal with a son and a father, or a father and daughter, and if both of them are together coming to consensus through positive conflicts into this decision, it is good.
Right.
But then if you are going to have a bullying kind of
Aggressive now.
or it can be the other way around also. Not always we are going to be guiding the boomers into technology also. We can also feel content. Yeah, I'm happy with what I'm getting, what my father's business is making. We can also
I'm just fitting in.
we can also fit in and be a part of it. So it's, I think, 3 or 4 different probabilities that can work out. Yeah, I think that's it. That's how the whole picture, I think. Other than that,
And the percentage of people who are fitting in and the percentage of people who resist, is it in equal balances? I don't think they are in equal balances, right? Because like we've known a lot of people who do business from like father and son, and I agree. Like I would believe like you and your father have a lot of conflicts in decision making, and I would have a lot of differences with my father, but he does not run a business. But some of my friends who also own business will always complain, my dad is not letting me do it. My dad is resisting to change. All these points that we lay down in this video are actually done by people in real life also.
Correct.
So, but these are businesses that are like very small scale, like in a city or in a state. But coming from businesses that are like too big to even fall, like companies like Disney or companies like Marvel or companies like Tata like Infosys. Do you think it will change a way where these new people are not progressing enough that the company should actually be progressing in?
A lot of companies throughout history have lost in the race because of not adapting to new technologies.
Right.
Or not adapting to the right technology,
And the right time.
At the right time, you might sometimes be late, you might sometimes be too early. And most of the time, the companies that grow are the companies that are formed by the youths of that generation who embraces the new technology that is going to come. So they just wipe out the
Competition.
existing giants, the unfollowable
Right,
businesses
right.
that
Basically.
we talked about. So, today we call them startups. Previously, we were calling them small and medium businesses. So, the names just change, but the actions and the results are going to be the same. So, change is inevitable. You cannot stop change, whether whatever the size of company you are, whatever on a personal level you are, but change is inevitable. But, it is good if you embrace the change, and for boomers, it is very hard. Like as we said, to embrace the change is going to be very hard. And, you said politics, so that happens within the organizations. Not just companies have these issues, even politically, we are having this issue
Right.
across the globe because of boomers sitting on top.
Right.
Politically, we are having this issue because of boomers sitting on top.
Right. And there is no way that the ceiling can be broken, right? As of now, there is no equal penetration of
Correct.
Is there any country that has tried blending? Do you have, because like I've never read a place where like,
I don't think. I think the first time I'm understanding this concept that there is a ceiling, glass ceiling
that
in
men and
this
women
area.
go through.
No, men and women go through. No, we have a glass ceiling because of
Generation
age,
gap. Right.
Generation gap. The first time I'm able to process that thought.
No,
in my
I
mind.
got this idea. Not got this idea. I saw this when I watched this movie. So all these youngsters trying to get in the parliament. So then I realized, nobody in the parliament is
Young.
less of. And one of the core ideologies of any new parties that come up, like Makkal Needhi Mayam, or something that is new, like Seeman's what is it? Naam Tamlar Kachi. And they are like propelled by young people who start off, but they are not
But still, the head figure is a boomer.
right.
And the end, the propulsion, even in all these old political parties, any organization, the propulsion, the fuel, the energy is from the younger
right.
people.
But the leading the cart would be
The leader is the boomer.
Mhm.
I think companies, to have a sustainable future as human race, companies, political parties, like how we had, people are fighting for, women are now fighting for women rights. We should start thinking in a way that every circle of power should have people of all ages having the same authority of decision making.
right.
I think,
Or even put into a factor where they can have a say in what are the decisions being made. Not entirely make the decision, but have an opinion put together saying like, do you think something like this can
today we are educated. Okay.
Right.
Today we are educated. The previous generation, I don't think like some generations
like us,
back,
was not like
it
us,
was
yeah.
not as educated as us. The consciousness level inside them was not this much. If today we have just risen up with this question, I think a lot of people are going to thinking about the same question. And if all these people start asking, then there is this change happening.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one big solution to all the problems that we are actually facing right now. Whatever problem may be, global warming, recession, whatever it is. Whatever it is, I think this can be a very big. This is it's not. I don't think can. I think this is. This is
yeah.
because I know how adding women into has brought a lot of benefits into wherever the inclusivity had come in, wherever that circle had been, from just being men, and once having women also into those areas, there has been more inclusive. Next is we should start filling up the gender gap
Right.
that is here, and once this is filled, we will see a huge change, because not all boomers are thinking the same. Okay?
Right.
There are some boomers
Who have
think
progressive.
for the next generation, who want to do something.
No, that
for
is
the
why
next-
they build the business. That is how they build the business basically.
and now they do not have access to these technologies.
Right.
And now if they have these people within their first circle of decision making, it is going to be a huge societal change that can happen
Right.
across.
No, I was reading up upon how Anirudh Ravichandran makes music, and what I see is always this: I'll always have people who are 16 and 17 in my troupe to understand what kind of music they are understanding and what kind of music they are enjoying. So because since my audience is going to be predominantly 18, 19, 20s, I should be able to know what their future is going to be so that I can make music in that mind. So we might know a lot of companies who work in such a way that they acquire startups. Like
Correct,
if you
correct.
like think of companies as an aged company and a company that is like 2-year old. I think Apple recently came with a product called Apple Pay. So they had this concept of pay later, where you can just pay as a loan. So they acquired a company which is called Credit & Co or something like that. It's a banking and financing company, and they acquired it and they embraced this same and made it into a product itself. So I think in the leadership positions also there can be a person who will say like we want to know what these other people are thinking, or like what the next generation of
I think
population thinks.
all these giant companies, all these giant companies, they have understood this, but the purpose or the reason that they use it is not
The
the right reason.
right.
They want to still. I think that is the boomeric idea that they have in their head is monopolization.
Right.
Is to my organization is
Extinguishing.
big. I have an if I lose my identity. But once you're too big, you should know. You should not become too big. Too big is never too good.
Right.
Too big of anything is never too good. It is not good for the organization. It's not good for the society. What you said is absolutely right. Apple, but that is one reason why these companies are still
on the top.
surviving.
Right.
Still
Surviving. Yeah.
survive. It's not being on top. They have always been on top for a long time. So now it is about surviving on the top. It is how
It's
I
like a
am.
question of 3 or 4 or
It
5.
is how I'm going to survive in the top 1%.
Right.
If I lose that 1%, I'm no longer in the game. I become, my identity is lost.
Right.
It becomes like, we don't talk about Yahoo, we don't talk about, the companies that were big.
MySpace, Orkut, or whatever.
Whatever the big companies that were there. These guys did not want to leave their relevancy out. So they start acquiring all these smaller companies.
Right. And one of the things that it is always put up by all these people from media is like these boomers, people who have the highest position in the companies, do not care about the environmental impact, or they do not care about the cultural changes or anything that is going to directly affect the next generation population. And the Gen Z that is coming in is like coming with a lot of aggression towards like focusing on the climate and working for their their time at work-life balance, and a lot of things like that. But these boomers who have made these decisions would not have worked like that. So that is why they might feel like this is something that is
Very
too liberal, and we are like not letting them take the entire process for them. So I think the generation that these people are growing up are making them do so, and not their personal mindset, and the society plays a huge part in making that decision for them. And because like we used to ride in cycles, we used to walk a lot, but right now when you have a bike when you're 15, even if you had a bike, you would have driven the bike. Just because we had a cycle, we were able to do that.
Ride the cycle.
Right. So it is not generally how the mindset is, but how we grew up and what the economic status allowed us to do. So I kind of agree with both of the generation. But do you think there will be a time where all these people will come together and find a common ground to progress forward and take the companies together to a
So I think
future?
we have to do it very fast. I think the time is right now. I think it has to start now. Now it is being forced upon them.
Right.
It is not a mutual decision by both the parties. It is not a, what do you say? The exact word.
It's not a mutual
Complement. It's not
symbiotic.
It is not symbiotic. The relationship is not symbiotic now. Now that is why we are seeing all these protests across the globe. People coming, young people coming, shouting. Police, cops hitting. All these things. I think it is because of this. The relationship is not symbiotic. But why this push? This push will become symbiotic very soon, because we are having a very, very, very finite market now.
Right.
The market has become very finite because it was depleted and it was not replenished.
Right.
The boomers have, just
Repeated all the resources.
accumulated it over there. So to make this market rotate again, they spin the wheel again. You have to
Come down.
include
Right.
me into your big organization in the top post.
Right.
So that is the one way to bring in everything down. But what these political parties are currently now, are the Indian politics. What they are, they are trying to do it with, not as a voluntary method. They want to do it as, enforcing power.
Right. Right.
I
Authoritatively.
am giving it to you.
Right.
It's
It's not come, let's go. It's like
It's not,
I'm telling you come.
But if I don't come, we are all going to fall.
Right.
It is not just I am going to fall. We are all going to fall.
Right.
So, but that idea is not yet there inside everyone. It is not a mistake that, the boomers did. Now the way how we are talking is we are telling, it is a mistake that they are taking. It is not a mistake. It is how they were trained.
Right. Right.
It is how they were processed. It is what they, as you said, their environment
And
made them into or molded them into. It's not a mistake, but changes are.
Changes should happen, and we
Changes
always
should
say
happen,
like changes
but
are good.
It will be good, if it happens without so much of violence, so much
Right.
of killing. It happens. This transition happens. But I think we have already spoken.
Yeah. We've
Every
deep dived into
revolution-
every revolution ever there is.
Every revolution has to go through a destruction. Every revolution has to go through and this is.
And that is one of the processes that changes always
you.
have, right?
You have to construct something new. You have to destroy what was there before.
Right,
And
right.
only then.
Even if it's in
reconstruct
culture, if it is in emotion, if it is everything. Yeah. So yeah, Ram, I think this topic was like pretty hectic, in
Sorry,
terms
boomers.
of and we didn't want to name any names to this topic because it's not any specific people's issues, but it is a collection of a lot of people's thought process and ideas and decisions as a whole that is like having an impact. Not just say a bad impact, but some impact that can, steer the progression of technology or the progression of people towards the, future in a different way. So we just want to have an objective, way of looking at things.
Basically, no. If the times were good, there is going to be no complaining. There is just going to be enjoying. But the times are bad. You all have to listen to it and act accordingly. So that we want the times to be good. We do not want to hurt anybody. We do not. We just want to have good times.
A better future for everybody. Yes. Right. So yeah. So that was pretty much it. And this topic is much needed right now because like a lot of things that we do are directly in relationship to what a lot of people in the highest power are controlling. And we just wanted to have a quick thought process on the same. And hope you had a wonderful a snapshot of what this was all about. Thank you so much, and we'll come again with another interesting episode. Until then, this is Guhan and Ram Kesavan signing off. Bye.
Reach Skyline. Embrace digital.